Hello ladies and gentlemen, Richard here, the creator of the very sexy Big Daddy Top Hat. And this week, some more amazing news has broke that ties directly towards the information and subject matters that I regularly cover on this channel. And what I'm referring to is that they are making a 16-bit conversion of the classic arcade game Final Fight for the Sega Genesis. What do you think of this?
Well, a 16-bit conversion of an arcade Final Fight game has already been done, so I'm not completely sure why we should care about this until you start looking a little bit deeper. There has been a Final Fight released on the Super Nintendo, but it definitely had some drawbacks.
This new game that's coming out for the Megadrive, in my opinion, is so significant. Final Fight on the Super Nintendo back in the day was flawed, to say the least. It was one of the early games on the system where devs didn't truly understand how to get the best out of the hardware yet, so it had a lot of drawbacks. For example, there was an entire stage missing in the porting, and more alarming than that was the fact that it had one of the characters missing from the game, which was troubling to a lot of fans, considering how iconic the three starring fighters are from that series. Like, everybody loves Cody Guy, and more importantly, the extremely handsome, mustachioed, mean Mike Haggar, the mayor of Metro City. What a sexy, distinguished man he is.
That went further than any of the previous takes, but yeah, we'll run with it. Yeah.
Why not? But yeah, that was a problem to me.
I can imagine why that's a problem. One of the other big issues with this is that one of the defining features of side-scrolling beat-em-ups, and what makes them so much fun, is to be able to do that with friends.
Yeah, and for some reason, the makers of Final Fight for the Super Nintendo just assumed that gamers didn't have any friends, so they didn't bother to put cooperative play in the game, which personally I took offence to.
Yeah, because although we didn't have any friends, you shouldn't assume that we didn't have friends.
Exactly that. So yeah, you couldn't play Final Fight 2-player, which was utterly atrocious. Still, it was still Final Fight on the Super Nintendo. That was a big deal, because it was an iconic arcade game, and Sega didn't like this one bit, because obviously they wanted Final Fight on their system as well. So they just decided to themselves, you know what? We're just going to make our own Final Fight, which is what they did, which is how we got the birth of the classic trilogy of games, Streets of Rage.
Yeah, which is possibly one of the greatest side-scrolling beat-em-ups of all time. Yes,
especially the second game. The second game was absolutely amazing. But with regards to even the first one, it did some pretty significant things at the time. They basically just took the Golden Axe engine, retooled it to stylistically look like the movie Streets of Fire, which was also the influence behind Final Fight. And then boom, we get Streets of Rage, which did have cooperative play, which meant that Genesis does what Nintendo don't, and gave so many people a reason why to back the Mega Drive over the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, they did a good job.
They did.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they couldn't play Final Fight.
No. Well, not for a few years at least.
36 years later. No, it wasn't that long, was it? Anyway, no. I'm getting all my dates wrong. Ignore me, people. We did get this,
a bit closer.
Yes.
Yeah. A bit closer was Final Fight CD, which came on the Mega CD.
Yes, which could technically mean this game could be played on the Mega Drive, but only if you owned a ridiculously expensive add-on console that hardly anyone had, because who wants to pay out for a console, then pay out for an add-on, then pay out for a game on top? So only the bougiest of gamers owned this one.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a good game. But what we're seeing in this trailer, it does make it look not as good.
It's really cool, considering it is just a base 16-bit game. And one of the features that stands out most about this was the CD audio soundtrack. And with this new version of the game that's being programmed for the base Mega Drive, the music is yet again one of the standout features, in my opinion.
Yeah, it genuinely sounds amazing. Hopefully we'll get a chance to put some in this somewhere.
I'll try my best.
Yeah, because you need to hear it. It's absolutely incredible. One of the things we discussed about this just before making this video was quite how good the music was. And I said that it was possibly even too good to sound like it's on a Mega Drive, which you disagreed with.
I did. I countered his attack, and what I said was that the music sounds so perfect for the Mega Drive. It's the most Mega Drive-y sounding music you could possibly get. It's very grunge, very heavy, like synthesizer-y. I don't know. I can't explain sound effects. Who do you think I am? A musician?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I meant was there is a very large spectrum on the Mega Drive of soundtracks, and you have a lot of games that are kind of right at the bottom. You have a lot of games that are right at the top, or a handful of games that are right at the top.
And you put this one near the top. Is that what you're
It's
saying?
near the top, possibly one of the best Mega Drive soundtracks ever, because it's incredible.
So yeah, for me, the music alone is enough reason to give this port of the game a bash beyond the novelty of just playing it on a Super Mega Drive, Sega Mega Drive to begin with.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, when you see the trailer, there is something that kind of caught our eye.
There was, yeah. Well, as they're going through the menu of the game, it says there's going to be an ultimate mode, and the developers of the game have not revealed what that's going to consist of yet, but hopefully it's going to be something new and exciting. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it could be something that's a little bit more difficult. We know that a lot of people are getting quite into their difficult games and up in the difficulty with like Kaizo runs and super hard platformers that have come out.
Well, as we've seen from the trailer,
maybe.
this version's already got all three of the iconic characters, Hagar, Cody and Guy. But maybe they add some extra characters on top of that. Maybe you'll be able to play as the bosses. Who knows what they're coming out, but hopefully it'll be something cool. Speaking of the people who are making this game, over to you.
Yeah, so there are 3 people currently working on this game. So I'm going to look over at the notes so I don't get the names wrong, although I probably will anyway. We have Mauro Xavier, Edmo Caldas and Master Linkyu. If I butchered any of your names, I'm sorry. But yeah, 3 people working on this.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, I believe Xavier is the head of the project, will actually program it.
Yeah.
And Edmo Caldas, is in charge of that fantastic music which we've been hearing, and the Master Linkue, is the technical support man. But yeah, it's shaping up very, very nicely, in my opinion. And it looks like a really cool novelty game, which I certainly would like to see sitting on a shelf alongside Streets of Rage. Yeah,
I'm really excited to give this a go. Yeah, is there any points for me to kind of cover?
Yeah, what I find interesting about this game as well, that the development team appear to be from Brazil.
Yeah.
And Brazil as a nation have a fantastic track record when it relates to the Sega Mega Drive. Those people in that region supported the system for so long, and there was even quite a lot of really cool games developed there as well. Like, kind of reminds me, did you know they released a conversion officially of Street Fighter 2 for the Master System in 1997 for the Brazilian market?
That's ridiculous. They've pushed that so far. Like, it's impressive how long they've held on to the Mega Drive.
So that's pretty cool. So the Master System porting of Street Fighter 2 is from Brazil, and this Mega Drive port of Final Fight's going to be from the same region. So Viva Brasilia. That wasn't even the right language, was it? That's not Portuguese, that was Spanish.
Yeah, it was Spanish.
I tried.
You tried. That's what really counts. Okay, if you like this kind of content, you can come over and find us on the sister channel to the Top Hat Game Man, which is Beyond the Hat.
Why is it a sister channel, not a brother channel?
I don't know.
Okay, sister, carry on.
Yeah, over on Beyond the Hat, you can find us on YouTube. There'll be links in the description. And if you're currently still watching this video up to this point, I run a channel over on Twitch called Top Hat Chat. You can come and find me over there.
Yeah, and if you want to learn even more about Final Fight, I have uploaded an over 1 hour long retrospective covering every single major entry in the series, from the original arcade release all the way up to the ill-fated, utterly disgusting American-made Final Fight Streetwise, the game that was inspired by Grand Theft Auto but did it absolutely terribly. Yuck. So if you want to learn more about the series, make sure you watch that one. Cheerio.